Welcome back to The Average Drinker. I'm Dara. Well, and by now, you probably already know, but I'm your average drinker. And today I'm doing something really exciting and something new. I'm kicking off my tour of Scotland. Super pumped about it. If you know me, you know I love peated scotches. You know I love scotch, really enjoy it. And that's why I am going to start by giving a little extra love this time around to Islay. That's right, Islay. And what I'm talking about with Islay is I'm going to tell you my 4 favorite peated scotches, standard peated scotches from Islay. I know if you're a bourbon lover, you probably are like, okay, I'm out the door. Like, you might not want to watch this. You might not be interested if you only like bourbon or if you only like rye. But gotta give some love to the world of scotch because there are so many great bottles. And if you haven't noticed in my past videos, I said I fell in love with peated scotch super fast, and I really, really did. So today I'm kicking off my tour of Scotland with starting in Islay. I almost forgot what I was saying there for a second. Sometimes that happens to me. I get going on these rants and I'm like, what the heck was I saying? Anyhow, so tour of Scotland, Islay, standard Islay peated scotches. That's what I'm starting with. Picked my 4 favorites. And out of like these 4, I've blinded these numerous times over the last 4 months, and I continue to get the same 4 bottles. So that's what I'm going to introduce you to today. All right, so I'm going to start with my least favorite of the 4, and that seems kind of funny to say because, well, I love all of these, so how can it really be my least favorite? But it's just my least favorite out of this group, but there are so many other great scotches that I love, so I don't know. Anyway, without further ado, it's time to bring out a bottle of whiskey. And that bottle is, drumroll please, the Lagavulin 16. Make sure I get this turned around so y'all can see it. That's this one right here, Lagavulin 16. And it's funny to me that this is actually my least favorite because out of all the bottles that I've got in this group, this one is actually the most expensive. It runs you anywhere from like around $100. But like the other bottles are between $40 and $60. So I guess there's something to be said about that. It's the most expensive, but my least favorite out of the 4. Take it for what it's worth. So on the nose on this bottle, it's pretty sweet. And it's not super pea forward. I get some vanilla, some toffee, honeysuckle. Smells really nice. But again, like I said, it's not super peat forward. It's just also a little bit perfumey. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but to me, when I smell it, I'm like, oh, it's like a vanilla honeysuckle perfume from Bath & Body Works. Nice, but does it taste like that? Well, as a matter of a fact, it actually does. It really does taste like it smells. You get that butterscotch, toffee, those perfumey notes on the palate, but then out of nowhere, it literally just bursts into this incredible peat. It's super well balanced, really nice. It does not dry out on the tongue. And then the finish, it lingers there for a little bit. And it is a little bit oily on the tongue, but I like it. And it's really delicious. I would say this is a great standard peated, Islay peated scotch right here. I love it. It's delicious. And I would highly recommend this one, even though it did finish number 4 out of 4 bottles. Super good. So now it's time to move on to the next one. Da-da-da-da-dun. I don't know what it is, or maybe I do, and I'm acting like a weirdo. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just acting like a weirdo. Okay, so next up, wait a second. I kind of got my cart before the horse, or the horse before the cart, or however that saying goes. Yeah, the cart before the horse. I forgot to tell you guys what I'm going to rate this one. So this one, I'm going to give this one 3 corks. 3 corks. Delicious. It's better than below average. It's better. It's just a little middle of the road. It's a great peated scotch, but it gets 3 corks. So I love it. Like I said, highly recommend it. Now we can go to the next bottle. I might be losing my mind, right? It could be happening. But the next bottle. Okay, this one, whenever I think about peated scotch, I think about Ardbeg. And that's what I've got right here. Number 3 on my list is Ardbeg 10-year. And there's a great story with this one. So whenever I think about the first time I drank peated scotch, which actually, well, it was about a year ago. And I remember Bill drinking it. I'm like, what the heck is he drinking? It smells like super like smoky. And so I tried it. And when I think about peated scotch, I think about Ardbeg because that's the first thing I tried when I tried peated scotch. And it makes sense because Bill has a ridiculous amount of Ardbeg on the shelf. He has a lot of the committee releases. So I benefit from his love of Ardbeg, and I really love it too. And I'm glad that I do because we can kind of share in that enjoyment of Ardbeg together. So this Ardbeg is super, super delicious, and there's more to this Ardbeg story. So before I get into what it smells like and tastes like, let me tell you a little bit more about why I love Ardbeg so much. It's kind of funny because after I tried the Ardbeg, I said Ardbeg one time, I think. I think I may have said Ardbeg. And all of a sudden, I started getting tons and tons of ads on my Instagram and Facebook. And it was for this like Monsters of Peat smoke tour that they do. And I kept seeing it over and over again. And one day I was like, I want to see what this is about. So I clicked on it. Yeah, they reeled me in. But I got it. I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to be in Colorado. Got to go check it out. So long story short, or short story long, I went to the Monsters of Smoke Peat tour, and it was at a liquor store, and they had their really sweet like tour bus outside. Holy moly, that thing was nuts. Like, I think the guy there said it was like a $250,000 vehicle. That's pretty crazy to me. That's pretty expensive, but it was sweet on the inside, really cool on the outside, and I got to try some delicious Ardbeg barbecue sauce, which makes sense because I think if you're looking for like the perfect scotch to drink with barbecue, oh, actually, this might be the perfect whiskey to drink with barbecue. That's right, I said it here first. You heard it from me. And I'll explain why in a second. Let me finish this story because I get a little ADD and I forget what I'm saying. But back to the story. So while I was there at the Monsters of Smoke Peat tour or whatever they call it, they had bottle etchings. And that's where I'm going to bring up this next bottle. I got to get a bottle etched with the average drinker. It was an Inno bottle. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm hoping you can. It's really cool. At the bottom there, it says, oh yeah, you can see it. You can definitely see it. It says the average drinker. My very own etched bottle. I'm going to cherish this one for a long time. So now it's probably time for me to tell you why I like the way this one smells and tastes. So on the nose with this one, I get this succulent, sweet honeysuckle note, and it's not actually very peat forward, which really surprised me because Ardbeg is known for being like super heavily peated. So I didn't get this peat forward note on the nose, but one thing I did get was apple cider. Not like apple cider vinegar, more like apple cider that you drink in the fall. And that's why I think it's the perfect scotch for barbecue. So on the palate, it's not quite as sweet as it smells, but it really does still taste incredible. Like, it's this huge burst of peat right up front. Really, really nice. Like thick, heavy peat, but it's not like chewy or like syrupy. It's just a nice, thick, heavy peat that literally flows right into the sweetness of apple cider that I got on the nose that smelled so good, tastes even better, does not dry out my tongue, and it is just a really long, warm, lasting finish, and that's why I love this bottle so much. It's just such a great bottle, and I feel like it's just one of those quintessential peated Islay scotches that everybody should check out, especially if you like peated scotch. So it's great, goes well with barbecue, I'm assuming. Love the barbecue sauce, but I can't wait to drink some of this during the summertime when I'm hanging out by a bonfire, grilling some burgers or steak or barbecue, anything. It sounds delicious with it. So on this one, I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 quirks because it's great and it's in my top 4 for a reason. Now it's time to move on to my top 2. So the next bottle I bring forward, I'm probably going to butcher the name of it. Well, because it's a tough name and I'm not great with weird names, I guess. I don't know if that's a nice thing to say, but it's true. So without further ado, this bottle is Bunnahabhain, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Bunnahabhain Toy Tequila. That's this one right here. And the thing about Bunnahabhain is that I have literally loved every pour of Bunnahabhain that I've tried. Any pours I've had of Bunnahabhain, loved it. And this one, it fits in there as well. It is so freaking delicious. On the nose with this one, it's super, super rich. In fact, it makes me kind of want to take a bite out of it, like a big, juicy peach. And it does actually smell like a little bit of a peach O-ring. So you get that sweet peach O-ring, but then on the nose, I also get some like light espresso beans, some toffee and vanilla. So it's like a really nice balance of sweet and dark. On the palate, this one is like super, super sweet up front with some like vanilla and peach. And then it just bursts into this really nice light peat, and it's a long finish, oily. And then as soon as it feels like it might dry out, the fruit comes through again. And it's so incredible. And that fruit flavor, that like dark fruit, orange, maybe like a dried orange, if that makes any sense. Not orange, a dry peach. Wow, losing it. Peach, orange, two different things. That dry peach, like a dried up peach, like a humidified peach. I don't know how you call that, but that's what it tastes like to me. The flavor finishes with that, and that just stays in your mouth. And it's really, really, really nice. I love this bottle. This is really one of my favorite standard offerings from Islay. So delicious. Bunnahabhain Toy Tekida. I just want to practice saying that. But it's time to give this one some corks. And this one is actually going to get 3.5 corks. So a little bit better than the last two bottles. And it's so true. It really is just a little bit better. And it's one I could drink any day of the week. So good. Love you. Love you. Okay, so now it is time to introduce you to my very favorite standard peated Islay Scotch. OMG. Holy moly. It is. I feel like I purposely wore the shirt that I'm wearing because it kind of matches the bottle a little bit. It's the Port Charlotte 10-year. And I only say it matches the bottle because there's a little bit of yellow on there. Port Charlotte 10-year. I freaking am obsessed with this bottle. Holy moly. Again, it is so good. So good. On the nose, I get this like intense burst of butterscotch right away. Butterscotch. Oh my gosh. It makes me think of like my childhood and candies with my grandpa. The nose is so nice. It flows into this orange zest that's really, really enjoyable on the nose. And then I get a very faint hint of like char or peat. It's not strong though, which actually out of all the bottles that I've introduced you today so far, none of them really smell like peat. So I think these like distillers that make these and blend these are complete experts at this, obviously. That's why they have their jobs. But it's insane to me that you have something that smells so sweet, but then just really tastes like peat. It's incredible. Really, shout out to you because you're awesome. So here's why I love the way this one tastes so much. It's like a crazy balance of sweet and then this bitterness that kind of rolls into like a bit of a medicinal note, but then it keeps bouncing like bounce act. It's like crazy. It's like a juggling of like a really nice peat, a really nice like butterscotch, and then it just flows into this like melodic, man, I feel like I'm singing a song. It flows into this really, really nice butterscotch, light butterscotch finish on the end. The flavor just lingers so nicely, and it's such a great, wonderful bottle. And I kind of want to hide this one away from Bill so he can't drink anymore, and so I can just have it all to myself. In fact, I might even buy a few extra bottles and hide them from him too, because I love it so much. But I think the thing about whiskey is that it's meant to be shared, so I guess I'll share it. But now I need to tell you what my ranking is, and I'm going to give this one a 3.5 also, like the last bottle, the Bunnahabhain Toy Tekida, the Port Charlotte 10-year. This one is by far, though, my very favorite standard peated offering from Islay. Islay is an amazing place. Well, I imagine it is. Every time I like browse through pictures and galleries online, I feel like I'm just going to daydream about going there. And then someday I'm going to Scotland. I'm going to just like move to Islay and disappear. Okay, that might be a little bit dramatic. That's not going to happen. So yes, Port Charlotte 10-year is my favorite. But there's more. So there's one from this group that's missing. Well, at least I think it's missing. Whenever I think about peated Scotch from Islay, I think about, well, like Ardbeg, Bunnahabhain. I think about those things, but I also think about Laphroaig, right? How could I leave out Laphroaig? Well, hold on. I'm getting the bottle here. This Laphroaig 10-year, it might be for you, right? You might love Laphroaig 10-year, but sadly, I don't love it. And every time I do it in a blind, I feel so disappointed because this one, it is a little bit dry. It's a little bit bitter, but it also literally tastes like you licked a Band-Aid. Now, no, I don't walk around licking Band-Aids because that would be weird, but it does make me think of that scene from Dumb and Dumber where the guy is on the ski lift and it's frozen and he sticks his tongue on there. Yeah, that's what I feel like I would look like if I was licking a Band-Aid. So that's why I don't love this Laphroaig 10-year. You might love it, and if you do, let me know. I'm sorry, tastes are different, and that's the cool thing about whiskey. Every profile's different and every opinion's different. This is just mine, might not be yours. So tell me what you think. If you like Laphroaig 10, let me know in the comments. And are some of my favorites your favorite too? I want to know. Chime in, and also be sure to head over and check out my Patreon. I finally got that thing up and going, and now you can actually see some of the content I'm doing. You can sign up to get some perks that you get, swag bags and things like that. So maybe not a swag bag, but I have some cool giveaways that I'm doing over there on Patreon. So you're going to want to check that out. And seriously, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, what are you doing with your life? Hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, like this video and leave a comment and chime in, tell me what you think, and I'll respond back to you. I usually respond back to everyone unless you're being a jerk, which whatever, to each their own, right? Anyhow, thank you so much for watching The Average Drinker. I'm going to hide this one away. Bill can have this one all he wants. I'm going to sneak back down, grab that Port Charlotte 10-year, and disappear into the abyss. Thank you so much. See you next time on The Average Drinker. I'm Dara.